All right, good afternoon. I'm Drew Holley with BIS. We are joined by Jesse Couch on our commercial insurance. And as I always say, this is America's most boring podcast. And if you're listening to this, shame on you. We are going to be talking about commercial umbrella insurance. What is umbrella insurance? Does everyone have to have it? Does everyone need it? Let's go over this just a couple minutes.
It's just liability. It's just more limits of liability. So if you are negligent and you cause some sort of loss, bodily injury, property damage, that's what that umbrella sits on top. So you have 3 different policies that typically it sits on top of. So you've got the auto liability. So you're driving a company truck, get into a serious auto accident. Typically they have $1 million in auto liability. The umbrella would sit on top of that. So if you had $1 million umbrella, you'd have $1 million with your auto liability and another $1 million with the umbrella, so you'd have $2 million total.
Does it auto only, or can it apply to my building as well?
So it wouldn't apply to property.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, oh, I've got an umbrella. They think it's just kind of a catch-all for just anything that's underinsured, but it's only for liability. So it can be for general liability as well. So if you were a product manufacturer making supplements, and a bunch of people got really sick and you had like a class action lawsuit, you'd have your general liability, product liability policy.
Okay.
$1 million per occurrence is typically the limit as well on that. So you'd have another $1 million sitting on top of that with the umbrella.
Yeah. And don't certain customers require you as a vendor to have certain limits?
Yes.
Okay. So you might have a business owner policy or BOP or some, hey, if this place burns down or if something gets stolen, it might cover a certain percentage of liability, but let's say it's $1 million and you get a contract with a big employer here in Metro Atlanta and they say, I require you to have $4 million. You might be able to shop it out and get more on that basis of policy, but any gap, you would then go get an umbrella policy. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And that's something to pay attention, because sometimes on renewals, carriers will drop their limits. They might, or as a way to lower their rates, they might say, hey, I'm not giving you a 20% increase anymore. I'm giving you a 10, but I've dropped your, liability from $2 million to $1 million. Do we see that sometimes?
Yeah, a lot of the carriers are trying to limit their liability right now, and a lot of it's through auto. So if they see that you have 30 trucks in Metro Atlanta, instead of offering you a $5 million umbrella, they're only going to offer you a 2 or no umbrella.
Okay.
And so what that does is basically you have to go find another carrier to write the umbrella, auto, and everything together, because that's generally where you find the best pricing. Or we have to go get, it's called an excess liability policy. So it will just sit on top of, if they're only able to offer $2 million, you had to carry 5 for one of your customers. We just have to sit another liability policy on top of that.
Got it. So bottom line is, if you're uncomfortable with the limits of liability you have, or if you have a minimum requirement, either from your own risk tolerance or maybe a customer, you are going to have to pay attention to possibly buying extra, which insurance have a weird way of just trying to make things more complicated. They should just call it extra liability insurance, but that would be too easy. So we're going to call it commercial umbrella insurance, and BIS has solutions for you if you're in the need for that. So thank you for today's topic.
Thanks for having me.